Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti, along with Acacia Clement. It is a nice day here in South Florida, but I guess we had some rain because we will not be on the turf this afternoon, but we have a fast main track and, of course, the Tapeta surface, which is all weather.
Absolutely, and as we always mention, with those races coming off the turf, they will be moved to the Tapeta, and as a result, very few scratches on the card, which is always nice. Now, Ron and I don't live around the corner, so we didn't experience rain, but our colleagues that live close by said there was quite a bit of rain right here at Gulfstream last night, so no turf racing this afternoon.
Yeah, we have the pick 5 pool already building, and before we get into this first race this afternoon, we got to tell you about the Rainbow Six a little later on today. $400,000 gross jackpot guarantee pool, and that will kick off in race number 4 today. This is the totally amazing thing. I mean, they hit it last Sunday, right? And now it's 400,000 gross jackpot guarantee. So we'll see how long it lasts. You got a chance to take it down. There was a single, I believe, yesterday.
Yeah, there was in the nightcap, and you'll have a ticket. Is it 43.20 today?
43.20 a little later on today. The first race is going to be about 1.70 miles on the all-weather Tapeta. Claimers, fillies, and mares, 4-year-olds and up, 25 down to $20,000. And our colleague Brian put a ticket together, and let's see what number it is here. $30 this afternoon.
$30 play, and he has a 5-horse spread in the opener, though currently the number 6 Panati is 9-5. I can understand this is a horse that's not easy to overly trust, and can she get back to the winner's circle? So using 5 in the opener, 3 horses in race number 2. The third race is a nice maiden race today. He's got 2 horses in race number 3 with the 4 Grandma's Pudding and the 5 Jan's Girl. 2 horses in the 4th as well with League of Shadows and Scotty Brown, and then the single will come in race number 5 with the 7 Russian to Win, who I did not use, actually, so I'll be curious to see.
I have it on top there, but
All right.
We'll see how it works out. That doesn't mean very much. And that is a second leg of the Rainbow Six, actually. We cross over between the early pick 5 and the Rainbow Six with it starting in race number 4. I'd like to see what you did in this one. The horse that I picked on top is the number 1, Morning Colors, who's going to the Monica McGoey barn after the claim, stretching out to the mile 70 yards. After following a couple of sharp efforts, going long in the Tapeta with a poor showing, but that was going 5.5 furlongs. Journeyman Jesus Rios, inside drawer to me. I think this horse is much better going long on the all-weather turf.
No, you bring up a good point. I did think that probably the speed of the race was going to be the 2 appointed, and maybe this one could stalk just down to the inside. So we'll see, as Monica has a strong percentage off the claim, 17%. I did think that the number 6 Panati was the one to beat. Had trouble last time out in that starter allowance, and now today it does go to a straight $25,000 claiming race. So a little bit of a drop in class versus what she faced last time out. Was very good going through her conditions prior to that. She's now second time in the barn of Steve Caceres and Javier Castellano, who could have a very big weekend with a lot of other riders out of town here at Gulfstream.
Well, he is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
So, and, this one had a little bit of trouble, and it is the one to beat. I was looking for something else in there. Had that, little steadied at the quarter pole, got parked 5 wide in that race. The other horse you used in here was the number 2 Appointed, who we'll have a little further down on the ticket.
This one is first off the claim for Marty Drexler, who's been very sharp with claims here at Gulfstream. As you can see just down on the short numbers of the last couple of years for the DRF, he's 28% off the claim. And this one was actually the favorite in that race last time out. Showed speed and then pretty much stopped after that, but it turned out to be a live race with a couple of next out winners, and I think she'll be the controlling speed today.
And, the number 4 Current Situation was the exception to the norm on the Tapeta when she used her speed to make every call a winning one, defeated those 16 claimers in front-running fashion for John Service. Tyler Gaffleone will be rationing her speed this afternoon. So tough to win. We've had a lot of horses, not a lot, but more than we thought we'd have winning on the front end. But I just think you always got to give those horses a second look.
I agree.
Let's go to race number 2, and we'll stay on the all-weather Tapeta. This is about 5 furlongs. These are claimers. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 in life, 20 down to 16. No scratches or jockey changes in here. And you did go with the favorite in here, and that is Super Luna.
Super Lunar, second off the claim for Mike DePaolo. I just thought ran well last time out when closing from off of it. She does actually have some tactical speed too. She has been a little bit more forwardly placed in the past. She is, as you look through the past performances of this race, a filly that we know likes and handles the Tapeta, as she broke her maiden on Tapeta up at Woodbine in December. It'll be kind of the third start of her form cycle here, second time for the barn as well.
I went with the inside horse who you have a little further down. That's Dreaming of Audrey, who's stepping up to face winners after finally putting it all together when she drew clear to break her maiden in her 16th race. So Jose D'Angelo just having a fantastic winner. Claimed her 3 starts back. Has Javier Castellano, named on the Improving Daughter of Field Commission. We always say this, when a horse takes a while to break maiden, once they do it, maybe they can put 2 or 3 together.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. You always hear people say, oh, maybe it's the confidence getting up, and that very well could be. It could also be that maybe the connections have figured something out behind the scenes, whether it's a physical issue or just something that the horse responds to a little bit better. And this one really improved quite a bit. 2 starts back when moving to Jose's barn, and obviously kept that momentum going.
The number 4 horse, who we both have in second, Lean of the Line, moves to the Steve Cliceris barn after that claim. Stalked early, drew clear late to defeat those 16 maidens. That was going 5 furlongs on the all-weather to Peter, and Edwin Gonzalez is going to ride today.
Yeah, she ran very well at first asking. That was her maiden 16, so she steps up to face winners for the first time in for 25 today. So she has to prove herself. But Steve Cliceris, very, very sharp claiming horses, particularly on the Tapeta.
Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. We're going to be on the fast main track, 6 1/2 furlongs, maiden optional claimer fillies, 3-year-olds. If you're not a Florida bred, $50,000 tag. So pretty nice racing here. 7 in the field. Do we start? Well, let's go with the Hotter Than July, who's on top for you, turning back to 6 1/2 furlongs.
I had a tough time with this race, actually. I thought there were several ways that you could go. This one ran pretty well. The problem is that this filly has some trouble getting out of the gate for Mark Cassie, in that she had trouble on the Tapeta in her debut going a distance. Last time out, she clearly was better sprinting, gets a half furlong less to deal with in here. And I thought that if she's drawn to the outside, Junior Alvarado can kind of get her into a good groove, get her into a rhythm.
We got a stat I wanted to show you on Mike Trombetta with this horse. And when horse is going from all-weather surfaces to dirt, he's 8 for 40, 20%. He's in the money 45% of the time. 279 is the return investment over the past 5 years. So he does good with that move. We'll see how London Lady goes. I had this horse on top all along. We'll see how this horse handles the combo, surf and switch, and turn back. I went with the 3 London Lady on top. Turning back to sprint distance on the mid.
I was like, what horse are you talking about?
Well, I went out of order because I wanted you to talk about the 7. Yeah, I was excited. Yeah. So that's what the stat is on London Lady. Turning back to the sprint on the main track. I told you why. So let's go on. What about Grandma's Pudding?
Grandma's Pudding. Who doesn't like Grandma's Pudding? We'll take a look at her first race. I know this was for 35, and she's stepping up today. This isn't the toughest bunch that she meets, but we'll take a look at this race. I thought that she actually ran really well. She was at the back of the pack. The winner, Chestnut Checkers, was right up on top of the pace, and the pace actually held together pretty well, all things considered, in this race. She kind of, the winner got first run, and this one was closing late on the outside, just not able to catch the winner with a much better trip. She was 5-1 on debut. Ralph Nix has been having a terrific winter meet. Thought she finished up really nicely for her first race, and as we saw with a horse like Spirit Wind, who did actually debut for $50,000 and then stepped up to maiden special weight and is now a stakes winner. When Ralph steps him up, that's usually a vote of confidence.
Yeah, and Tyler Gaffalione interviewed him, and he said exactly that, that Ralph certainly knows where to put him, so that horse in there. Hotter Than July, turning back to the 6 1/2 furlongs after returning from the layoff. Finished that track to pace. Third is the favorite. That's the 2 I got mixed up with.
I talked about Hotter Than July already.
I know, I'm just saying I want to get people back into the order of the 3, the 7, and the 4, who we picked in some order in that race. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll have this all straightened out here. I should have never gone out of order. We'll be right back with the Rainbow 6.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round on first inside. Race. And a 1/4 mile to go, and he's 6 on top.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Acacia. This fourth race was originally scheduled for the turf, now to be run at about 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. These are claimers 4 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life, or a race in September 25th. We had an early scratch of the morning line favorite actually in there, the number 3 horse with the move to the surface. So I put a Rainbow 6 ticket together, of course, with not using the turf this afternoon. We'll talk about this race in a moment. Brian Single in race number 5. One of the horses I did use Russian to win, but I also used Fishing for Fun, going to the Mubarak, Muhammad Mubarak barn. I thought might run well in there. Race number 6, 3 deep in there. That race moved from the turf to 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. I went 3 deep in there. Race number 7, I went with Aeronaut and Tuwaim. I think we're going to show you a video of that horse. I think those are the logical 2 in that race. Then I got some coverage in race number 8 with the 3 and the number 7 horse. And in race number 9, you know, this one going to 1 mile and the 16th on the all-weather. I really liked the horse in there. That was my long shot, but not too much for the turf. So I put Blue Times, it was wire-to-wire winner on the all-weather on top of my ticket.
I agree. I think that we know that that horse can handle the Tapeta and won very nicely on it last time out.
So interesting to see how you handle this race, and I'll let you start so I don't get you confused.
It's all good. Race number 4, I landed on the 7 here, Poppy's Pride. Scratched into this horse. Maybe you can kind of look through it, and there is some concern in that clearly he's lost some of his form. He's also lost his speed, too. That said, he's been facing so much tougher, and when he finally dropped in for 35 last time, it was on the turf, which I don't think he wants any part of. So I wasn't 100% sold on him. That's why I had him in 4th or in 2nd before, but I lost my top pick with scratches in here. And he is a dirt horse, the Tapeta, a little bit of an unknown. I'm hoping to the outside, first time getting to run at this level on the Tapeta, at least in here, we will get a chance to see him kind of get back to the form that he used to have.
Yeah, I also lost the 3 City Drifter on top of my ticket, and I bumped up the number 5, Scotty Brown, who's stepping up to the next level. Returned from the layoff for that new trainer, Jane Sabelli, responded with a hard-fought victory. Now, that was against 25,000 non-winners, the Duke Claimers going 5 furlongs on the turf. But the barn is good, winning consecutive races. They got Javier Castellano, and I thought they're leaving this horse in. They must think that this horse has a shot to run well on the Tapeta.
Well, he's been a tough horse over the last year or so to keep on the racetrack. You see some gaps in the form from May to September, September to February. So I'm sure encouraged by that big effort last time out that want to move forward with him once again today. That was in the non-winners of 2 conditions, so he does step up, but I agree. I think he's a huge player.
And Graceful Kitten, it turns back to 5 on the Tapeta after showing speed going long on the all-weather. I think this move to the Tapeta might be good for this horse today.
Yeah, this horse has run well on the Tapeta in the past and has shown some speed in doing so. Actually ran fine sprinting on Tapeta too, as far as figures are concerned.
Well, that is race number 4 this afternoon, where the Rainbow 6 is going to start with that $400,000 gross jackpot guarantee. We're back on the fast main track for race number 5. It's a 1-mile claimer, 3-year-olds, 20 down to 16. No scratches in this race, and this is where the late pick 5 starts. So Brian put a ticket together. Let's see what he did. That's right. He's single in here, too. He's following along with the number 7, Rushing to Win.
All on the number 7, Rushing to Win. A 3-horse spread in the 6th race. That's off the turf. 3 horses in race number 7 as well, including Tuwaim, who you mentioned, who had a hard-fought victory last time out. 4-horse spread in that Tapeta starter allowance in the 8th race. That's a really tricky one, and you have some horses coming out of a common race. Off the turf in the nightcap, so he will stand alone with Champagne Lady for Shug McGahee.
Shug McGahee tries the Tapeta. Uncle Mo, I think, is the sire of that horse there. So getting back to this, well, Brian knows something we don't know. I mean, I picked this horse on top, but then Sengler moves to the Wansi Avila barn after the claim, stretches out to the mile. They're going to add Lasix this afternoon. Stalk throughout, finished 3rd against this level, going 6th on the main track for Javier. Rides a $90,000 son of Cairo Prince. I think it's probably a speed play for him.
No, for sure. I understand that. I had my long shot in here at a price play down to the inside. So this horse was on the bubble for me. I I thought that I just liked others better, but like you said, maybe Brian knows something we don't know. But yeah, if he could handle the stretch out in distance, which is always a bit of a question, but he's by Cairo Prince, and you do have Javier Castellano in the saddle. First off the claim for Juan Avila, but he does come from a big barn as well, formerly with Eddie Plisa at the start, who had him sprinting. Active Valor is where I landed, though, Ron. Another one who does stretch out, but this is actually a reclaim for Kelly Breen, which I thought was really intriguing. He had him in his first 2 starts, and so the fact that he claims him and now stretches him out in distance, I thought that was really intriguing.
Yeah, no, I used them on the ticket for all those reasons. Corey Lanning ride, just what I like to call this new old acquisition. They had it, they got it back. Yeah, I agree with you. And then I used it, you did somewhere on your ticket fishing for fun, going to the Muhammad Mubarak barn after the claim responded to both the surface switch and the drop down in competition with a rousing 12-5 maiden score. And that was from a tough outside post at this very distance. And if you're not aware of Muhammad Mubarak, he spent many, many years in South Florida. He was in Europe. He's an excellent trainer. He's just starting to build his stock.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one overcame a lot with an outside post. I thought the 5 vision board was a little bit interesting too, who goes back to the main track today. Clearly not a turf horse. And I know it was against New York breds 2 starts back, but he won nicely in that effort, going 7 at Aqueduct, and now drops in class after facing tougher on the grass last time out.
We're going to flip the page and go to race number 6 this afternoon. This one on the turf. Now will be run off the turf, I should say, about 1 mile 70 yards on the Tapeta. Starter allowance, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, started for $40,000 or less. And you have the number 2, I believe, on top in this race.
I do. Miss Delicious is first off the claim for Steve Caceres. The replay's on the turf, but we can show it anyway because I think that it does show a lot about her. Now, early on in the race, she broke a little bit slow from the inside post, and she was kind of pulling throughout. She was on heels pretty much the whole time, finally was able to settle and then tipped out wide and closed off of it. She was bet down to a short price that day as well, and she delivered in her first start, I should say, for Mike Maker. Now to another barn of Steve Caceres. She's protected. She's not in for the tag, which I think is a positive, and she's typically one that has a lot of early speed. And early on in the race, like I said, she was totally taken out of her comfort zone in that she really seemed a little bit uncomfortable off of the pace.
I did go with the number 5, Lato Key, who responded in that first race after the claim by Bill Ferrenos with a willing third against 20 starter allowance runners, and that was going this distance on the Tapeta. So I thought of that performance. Rafael Hernandez in the saddle today would be a logical contender. I mean, you have it in second, so figures prominently.
I actually upgraded her when the race came off the turf and got moved to the Tapeta, because clearly she's one that really likes the surface, and she showed that she could belong at the starter level last time out. The number 3, Short Circuit, 2 back, she ran on the Tapeta. She ran fine. She does not have a win on the surface as of yet, but her 2 Tapeta races have been against tougher, I think, than what she faces today.
And you know, the number 1 horse in here, Act Like Artie, breaks from the rail after showing speed and fading against those 20 starter allowance runners. That was going this distance on the Tapeta. She has speed, the rail. Maybe steals it. It's just one I threw on there. And it's hard to judge with these horses going for. We don't get a lot of scratches, so he's got to see, as Acacia and I did, who runs well on that surface or who you think might run well on that surface. Going to race number 7, 6 1/2 furlongs, claimers, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 races in a life, 35 down to 25. And we did have a couple of early scratches in here of the 2 and the 3. So we're dealing with a 5-horse field, and you did go with that number 1, Twain.
This horse ran huge last time out. We'll show the race, and you know, maybe it's a little bit of a question that he does come back for 35 in the non-winners of 2 condition after running an 80 buyer speed figure. That was also off of a layoff, and so you wonder, is he going to regress a little bit? I think even if he regresses, we're still going to see him potentially get to the winner's circle, especially with the size of the field he meets today. Was so game to run down Frosted Faith, who we'll see in tomorrow. And to be fair, Frosted Faith is kind of a little bit of seconditis in his career, but he's a good horse, and Tulane was able to run him down.
Yeah, you make a great point, but you know, why back in for this tag? That was really interesting. But you know, that Ralph, winning races 31%, so he's been making all the right moves this meet. The other horse that I have on top, or I should say I have on top, is the 6 Aeronaut, who was solid sprinting on the dirt against this level of competition. Returns to the main track after chasing the pace, finishing 4th against those 2 lifetime claimers, going 5 furlongs on the turf. So I found this stat on trainer Frank Russo over the last couple of years. Horses going from turf to dirt. He's 4 for 10, 40%, 60% in the money, and a $5.43 return investment. Must have had a couple of bombers in there, but that's a good stat, and that was where I went. And I've been liking the work that Frank Russo has done at this meet. He didn't start a lot of horses, but he's an excellent trainer.
He is an excellent trainer. I think that things have been a little bit slow in the win column, but has certainly picked up, it seems. And you can see that even 2 wins and then 9 second and third place finishes. So the horses have been running. The number 5, Democracy, kind of a similar appearance, that did finish behind Aeronaut. We only have 3 picks as this horse is just a 5-horse field, but Aeronaut was my 4th pick. 1, 5, 4, 6 is my picks in here. But Democracy, a little bit of a freshening, which I think is probably a thing that will benefit this horse. Hasn't raced since the end of January. Take a step back. Junior Alvarado climbs aboard for Antonio Sano, and Antonio's barn has been in a really good groove.
Yeah, good groove. And when you know those pair of third-place finishes, going 6 furlongs in December and January, maybe it was time they said, Antonio, let's give this one a little break. Junior Alvarado will be in the saddle this afternoon. Going to race number 8, about 5 furlongs under the Peter Starter allowance, 4-year-olds and up, started for $25,000 or less. Scratch the number 6 horse in here. I must be goofy. Well, I am goofy, but number 3, Harry on the Loose, just jumps off the page at me against this level of competition. And I don't understand it. He goes to the Brendan Walsh bond after the hefty $62,500 claim, and will try and flaunt his considerable back class when going 5 furlongs on the Speeder. I know that's the answer that everybody's trying to figure out how he's going to run here. Tyler Gaffalione rides this 6-year-old son of Uncaptured. I just remember this horse all along, so I made him my best bet, but I never heard anyone talking about him.
Hey, look, in this race, Ron, anything can happen. I thought it was such a tough race. I nearly put the Connector on top, and the horse I have on top, you don't have at all either. Reconfigure, who comes out of the same race, is Unprecedented. We'll take a look at the race. And a reason I backed off of Harry's on the Loose is I thought that we were going to see a pretty sharp pace set by Unprecedented, who will take a look here. Got pressure throughout from Smoke and Richie. Meanwhile, Reconfigure really did get the trip coming from off of it and just missed. He kind of sat off of the pace setters. He was really the one making up the most ground, Reconfigure was, while Unprecedented really game in setting that pace. Reconfigure on the outside closing, and this is a tough group of veterans. Unprecedented and Frank Russo, there he is again. This horse absolutely loves the Tapeta too. He'll be the outside speed in here. I thought if he potentially regresses a little bit, it's really wide open.
Well, I'm not giving up on Harry's on the Loose. I'm going to show you a stat from Brendan Walsh. I think this horse, here you go. This one, turf to all-weather tracks over the past 5 years. He's 22%, 49% in the money. 204 is the return of investment.
Nice.
So he's done this in the past, and, and we'll see how it plays out. I thought it was hysterical. I'm going, oh, this horse is going to be 1-9. Nobody picked him. So getting back to that, did you use Cooey anywhere, the number 8 horse?
I didn't. I didn't. Once again, I didn't know what to do with this horse. I mean, he ran huge last time after I thought he really disappointed 2 starts back. Is he able to repeat that effort that we saw from him last time out? Like I said, I was really intrigued by the Connector, who I thought ran huge behind Frenchman Street, 2 starts back on the Tapeta, and is a horse that loves the surface as well. Blinkers going on. I thought he'd be forwardly placed from the inside. You can make a case for a lot of horses in here.
Yeah, I tried to make a big one for Harry's on Loose, but nobody's biting. So we'll see how it plays out a little later on.
That could help your price.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to the last race, originally scheduled for the turf to be about 1 mile and the 16th on the Tapeta. Allowance optional claimer, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. Optional claiming price, $25,000. And we're going to show you Aqueduct race from Blue Times, but that last race on the Tapeta was pretty nice.
Yeah, and it's too bad because we were expecting the races to be on the turf, so I pulled her last turf race 2 starts back. It's really just a window dressing at the Big A, and she just got to go so comfortably up on the front. one. And the thing about it is, though, she came back on the Tapeta and did exactly the same thing last time as well here at Gulfstream, and she ran really well in the starter allowance. Love that she is now stepping up in class. She was eligible for the starter given the fact that she had run for 40 at Saratoga, so you take advantage of that. She's got to face a little tougher today, but I think especially with the race coming off the turf, she should be the one to catch.
And Brian Single in his Champagne Ladies wheeling back after following her front-running maiden special weight victory. That was going a mile with a track to pace. Third behind the next out winner, Carl Starsky, seeking. That was going a mile in the 16 on the turf. So she tries to compete it for sure. As I said, by Uncle Mo, we'll see what this horse does today.
And last time out in January, Traffic Song just set the pace every step of the way and completely wired the field. She was in that chasing position. I think she's a huge player in here, as is Cider Apple coming in from California. She's really intriguing for Jeff Mullins, as she's been running some big figures and facing good company out on the West Coast.
Yeah, I thought she'd hit a real good trip if it was on the turf, but I had some interest in her for sure. So that's the 9-race card for us this afternoon. You can see by our selections and Brian's through his tickets that it's going to be one of those days. If you're right, you can make a lot of money.
Absolutely. Plenty of good betting races this afternoon.
Well, we're not done. We got a lightning round this afternoon, and today is Friday, right?
Yes. I think so, yes. Today's Friday, which means the Stronach 5 is back, something everybody looks forward to. Low 12% takeout. Here is the rundown today. We have one race from Gulfstream. It's the nightcap today, and kicks things off at Laurel Park, 4:19.
4:19. It's about 50 minutes for the whole thing, and as Pete says, Overlay City, I think it paid $12,000 last week. A couple of, 8 days from the Florida Derby? 8 days from the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
We got some stakes action on Saturday.
We do. We have 2 stakes coming up tomorrow. The Melody of Colors. Here's a look for the fillies. It's a big field sprinting on the turf. There's some speed in here. Should be a fun race.
That's a great race. And the other race has a compact field, but boy.
The bright horses.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God, what a great race this is. I did end up going with Lucci, but you could use Big Invasion, High Front. What a good race.
Yeah, all of those horses ran really, really well, and there's the last start. So looking forward to those 2 stakes tomorrow on the Saturday card at Gulfstream. But you can get here early if you'd like. Tomorrow, Silks opens at 8 a.m. as we'll be showing you coverage of the Dubai World Cup, the Dubai World Cup card. So you can come and watch it here at Gulfstream Park. And, of course, we'll cheer on our Pegasus World Cup winners in Colonel Liam and Life is Good. Life is Good drew the inside post for the Dubai World Cup.
I think we just stay here.
Yeah.
You can see the race right here.
We'll just stay overnight, and we'll see if he can do this again at the Dubai World Cup.
He was so impressive. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
He really was. The Pegasus World Cup winner, Todd Pletcher had said that the Dubai World Cup was the plan all along, so we'll have to cheer on our winners. I love our Red Ortiz giving him some pats coming down to the wire there. You'd think with the inside post, he's got to go the 10 furlongs, but you'd think that he's going to be right out from the rail and maybe never look back.
No, you didn't know what to expect in the race, and it was just, the joke they said, they're off, you lose. If you didn't have Life is Good, you were out of that game.
Well, speaking of the Florida Derby, 8 days away, as Ron correctly mentioned, coming up on Wednesday, Ron and I will be hosting the post position draw for the Curlin Florida Derby, which of course will take place Saturday, April 2nd. The draw will be at 1 p.m. here at Gulfstream prior to the Fasig-Tipton Gulfstream sale, so you can tune in and watch that and see where your favorite horses end up.
And if you have some time, come out and watch the sale. It's so interesting to watch the horses go through the sales ring. Got $3 million, $4 million, whatever the price might be.
Yeah, looking forward to all of that next week.
We'll be back in a little while. Brian Natta will be joining us, of course, this afternoon.
The Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance is really the vehicle for the transition for our racehorses coming off the track into a second career and safe environment for these horses when they're done racing. I've been passionate about racehorses my whole life, animals in general, and without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses. I'm excited about the undertaking and excited about working with our board and our team at the TAA to continue the wonderful progress that has been made. So I'm very excited about what the future holds.